All right, Shalom. First, I want to say, call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwaf that believe as well. A hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered throughout the face of the earth, even if you're among the heathen, and even like the heathen who are the speckled Israelites, to the household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom to you. All right, back at you with another quick Lord willing video, and as we in the midst of this winter storm that's basically caused several states to be in a state of emergency. The death toll is rising. We don't even know the death toll, but it's steady climbing, and so far it's been dozens and counting. So hey, this is just one of the things the Lord gonna hit this place with, as far as the plagues, which the Lord's gonna hit this place with storms, and that can not only be a rainstorm, it could be a winter storm as well. All right, because through the rainstorms you have those floods that can happen, the flash flood, and then these winter storms, people can freeze to death. Like it's gonna be freezing temperatures for over a week, I think. So all you Akim out there and you feel Akwaf, be wise, bundle up. If you don't have to go nowhere, stay at home. Make sure that you take a precaution to make sure that you're in a situation where you're not out here just out here for no reason and putting yourself in harm's way. So with that being said, let's jump into the video and show you what's going on across the states. As like I said, they're in a state of emergency in many states across the U.S. due to the storm. So there you go.
A story over on the east side of the U.S. as they meet the back end of that massive winter storm that swept across the eastern two-thirds of the country this weekend.
Crib 2's Sydney Schofield is here in the studio to give us more on the effect this storm has had on millions of people over the past couple of days, and really what is expected over the coming days ahead. Sydney?
Yeah, Mark and Laura, more than 84 million Americans are under extreme cold warnings from Texas to Pennsylvania. This historic storm left more than 1 million people without power, caused hundreds of car crashes, and canceled thousands of flights. The brutal conditions caused stretches of the interstates all across the country to close, as many states experience a season's worth of snow in just a few days. The governor of Oklahoma says some areas of his state have been slammed with 11 inches of snow just so far.
We got more in a 24-hour period than we've ever had in the last, I think, like 40 years.
So in other parts of the country, it's the ice and bitter cold causing some serious concerns. A water main break near a highway outside Charlotte, North Carolina, encased power lines and streets in ice. And thousands of schools across the country remain empty today, too. Officials urging students to stay home and off the roads, as many states do not have the equipment to clear snow from the streets. So today, the main brunt of the storm has passed by. But tonight, millions of Americans will still be feeling sub-zero wind chills in the wake of this storm. In the studio, Sydney Schofield, Crib 2 News.
Yeah, so, at this moment, only 29 was dead when they reported that news clip. And I looked at the different news sources, and as you can see, I typed it on Google, reported deaths due to winter storm, and these are different states, by the way. And you can see 9 minutes ago, 11 hours, 20 hours, millions upon millions without, well, she said 84 millions, being faced with power outages, which that can cause people to freeze to death. You need to heat to stay warm in these trying times. So this is the book of Zephaniah chapter 3. And verse 5, it says, the just Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not. But the unjust knoweth no shame. So the Lord bringeth forth his judgment every morning. Because, we see these people, that's passed away so far in the storm. And like I said, there's emergency vehicles out as I speak, out rescuing people. I seen earlier, it was a lady out in Texas. And it was in Texas, I believe it was, that like North Texas, where she was freezing to death. He caught her just in time. She was nearing death, you know. And so the Lord is judging, Babylon, with different storms, and it's just the beginning of it, as far as this storm, and we don't know how bad it's going to get. There's a lot of homeless people out here in America. America has millions upon millions. I think about 40 million people that's homeless or don't have a idea where they're going to get the next meal from. So imagine the many people that's out there, without shelter, living in tents, and getting all the wood products they can get just to burn to stay warm. Here it is, the richest country in the world, but yet you have a poor population, all right, in a significant number, which show you that this man is unjust, man, because you should not have people that's in the tens of millions that are poor or homeless in the richest country, which the world reserve currency still to this very day, even though it's almost out the window, is the U.S. dollar, But this is Isaiah 29 and verse 6. It says, "Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." Right, so, hey, those are different things the Lord going to hit this place with, because he had owed Egypt with that. And it says in 2 Ezra 15, the Lord will smite Egypt with plagues as before, They bring it out.
Psalms 147. Verse, I'll start at 15. It says, "He sendeth forth his commandment upon earth, his word runneth very swiftly. He giveth snow like wool, he scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes." All right, and that's what Yahweh Shem Shai has been doing. All right, he's been because hoarfrost goes into like a pattern of I gotta pull it up right here just real quick. Hoarfrost is a beautiful feathery ice formation that occurs when water vapor and very cold, humid air freezes directly onto the surface below freezing. So yeah, that's what Yahweh Shem Shai has been doing, throughout America, been sending up that, because hey, it's cold as hell outside,
Yeah.
It's affecting, jobs, it's affecting, people's daily lives, all right?
Verse 17.
God. It said, "He casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold?" Yep. And if Yahweh Shem Shai wants you to get judged by this cold weather, hey, the Lord's he's gonna set it up to where you get judged. All right. Hey, you got power outages. All right. You got people getting stuck. Or you got people out here crashing. All right. So this is what Yahweh Shem Shai has. And guess what? It's only gonna get worse from here. Even if it's not a snowstorm, it could be another storm.
I got a precept real quick. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 40. And let me see. Sirach chapter 39. Sirach 39 and verse I'll start at verse 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them," which, that's the Heavenly Father that made, these spirits of vengeance, because one of his titles is he's the Father of spirits. Okay. Verse 29, he says, "Fire and hail." Now, hail is what? That's usually cold ice coming from the skies. Also, from the snow or cold, like you see in this news clip, it creates what? A lot of ice, even on the land or the trees and the grass and the roads. And people riding up and down these roadways, they don't know when it's their last time riding down these roadways, because I guarantee you there's been deaths, due to driving on these whether these slippery bad weather roads, man, that's got ice on them, especially, people out here just not wise, driving vehicles that, that are capable of, driving through bad weather conditions, I've seen dozens of people since it started snowing, which is Saturday, all right, on the side of the road, in the middle of the road, cars are bending, with the hazard lights on, you know what I mean? So, ain't no telling, who got judged, because some of them had, the obvious accident marks on them, You know, ambulance out here, fire department. I've seen that. You know, rushing to the the scenes. You know, and they didn't think it was their last day. You know, driving wherever they was going, store, to the job, what have you. You know, but the Lord judged them. You know, it says, fire and hail and famine, death, all these were created for vengeance. You know, and so it's one of the ways the Lord, bring forth that vengeance upon, the people whom he have in target, in his target. You got something out?
Yeah, I got some. Psalm 78, in verse 47. This goes into, Yahweh Shem Shah judging Israel because, basically they was being wicked when, after, the Lord brought them out of Egypt. And right now we're in spiritual Egypt again, So same shit, is happening. All right, Psalm 78 and verse 47. He destroyed their vines with hail and their sycamore trees with frost. All right, and that, that'd be what their food. All right, their shit, to make money. All right, so hey, you got people out here that lost cars. All right, they lost valuable items. Just through this winter storm.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah, and that's one of the plagues that, because you gotta remember that the Lord causes the same plagues in ancient times to happen during this time right now as well. Because what the scriptures tell you, that there's no new thing under the sun. The Lord, he has different ways he punishes the wicked out of the earth. And like the brother said, it includes our people as well. You got wicked Israelites out there that's doing wickedly to this very day. And they don't think about the Lord's judgment. They don't think the Lord is going to bring forth judgment upon them. It says, evil men, let me get that. It says, evil men understand not judgment. This is the book of Proverbs 28:5. It says, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Right? So you out here doing evil, right? And what the scripture is saying in Ecclesiastes 8, that because sentence against the evil work and executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully setting them to do evil. All right? So that judgment that came upon you swiftly, that you don't think it's going to happen, but it could be that very moment where the Lord judge you, all right, going out in this winter storm, all right, and that evil come upon you for for the evil of your doings. That's why it pays to be right with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Because you don't know, man. You're supposed to, you Israelites out there, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, which I'm sure some of you in that death toll, hey, it pays to be right with our power, man. Because the Lord's getting ready to judge Babylon, man. And this ain't nothing. It's just something I'm just reporting on the news, all right, of what's actually going on, current event that's going on as far as this winter storm. Because there's going to be other things that's going to be way more catastrophic than this. So, hey, you've been warned, man. You got something out. Yeah, so, you've been warned, man. That's all, Hey, hey, scripture say a wise man will fear in all things. You think you're going to get through this winter, and you may not make it through this winter. That's why you're supposed to say, if it's the Lord's will, I'll make it to tomorrow. Because you don't know. Okay? So with that, I want to give our honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakwadash, excuse me. Double honors to the apostles again, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to your fellow laborers out there doing the work. All right, shalom to the holy elect of the nation of Israel and the rest of the remnant. All right, that's going to be granted salvation. With that, shalom.